General Medicaid warning. The views expressed in 5-ish minute lore, the lore delivered in rants, are sanctioned by their scholar progenium as excess rageous. Prolonged exposure can result in loss of IQ, high blood pressure, random outbursts, and blunt force trauma to the skull, resulting in unconsciousness. Please consult your local physician for more information.
First Captain of the Word-Bearers, the Black Cardinal, Phaeron. Also known as Erebus Light. Also known as the Arch-Child Abuser. Also known as Bald Cunt Number 2. Brilliant.
So far into this exploration into the wondrous world of 40k lore and characters, we've explored the elegant, the ignorant, the amazing, and the unworthy. We've talked about saints and sinners, psychos and the downright silly, and while there are some who can claim very unique titles, none possess the one I'm about to bestow on Phaeron. Phaeron is the undisputed king of the sidemen, always trying to step into the limelight but getting slapped right back down into the back of the lineup. He is quite simply overshadowed by anyone he finds himself put in direct contrast with, and often painfully. Usually he doesn't realize it until it's made so plain to him and everyone around him his only choice is to keep quiet and accept the consequences. He is literally Villain B in the credit roll of the Horus Heresy, who exists only to forward the plot of someone better at doing the exact same thing he himself was trying to do. How about a few fine examples? He tries to aggressively push his religion on cultists. Lorgar comes along and does it better. He tries to step into a fatherly role. The Emperor actually did it better, and how by the blessed nutsack of the Emperor did Phaeron manage to do worse than Big E is anyone's guess. He tries to corrupt Lorgar. Nope, Erebus. Turn a Primarch to chaos? A fucking sword in the middle of a snake orgy actually did it better. How about Phaeron wanting to be a space marine? Any space marine in the history of space marining is a better space marine than Phaeron. Let's give this one a shot. How about be the most interesting transhuman character who got his heart ripped out? Nope. Lehman Russ. Phaeron will be better known and accepted as Word-Bearer side character 75B. Phaeron is nothing.
To everyone here who matters, you're vapor. You're spam. A waste of perfectly good yearbook space.
Phaeron began life, and his parents died out of shame for what they had brought into the world. He was raised in an orphanage, and he isn't even the best orphan character in 40k. Eventually, he was made priest of a massively religious cult which worshipped the Chaos Powers under different names. At some point, he was, and get this, kicked out of this highly theocratic and massively chaos religious-inspired cult for being too much of a dick in trying to forcefully convert people. That's really saying something right there. After being kicked out of the capital city of Verdesh for being an asshole and exiled, he grabbed a group of followers and went into the desert to be a priest out there around a bunch of nomads. That's when he met Lorgar. It didn't take a mathematician with 6 PhDs to realize the greatness that was in Lorgar, and instantly Phaeron seized on the free ride he saw in the Primarch and had his followers massacre the camp that he was found to be in to keep the Primarch a secret. He did a really good job of that one too. Phaeron then told Lorgar that he was his daddy and promptly began to beat the shit out of him for no good goddamn reason. Lorgar could have at any point sent Phaeron immediately to the afterlife, but he just didn't. When Lorgar started talking about the one god of mankind, Phaeron tried everything that he could do to beat 4 gods into him, but sure enough, Lorgar couldn't care less, and eventually he developed a following larger than anything Phaeron could have ever gotten himself. At that point, Phaeron started to calm down, probably because everybody saw him trying to beat the brakes off a golden-skinned prophet of their god, and that didn't go over very well. And while Lorgar wasn't inclined to uppercut him once and send him to the Shadow Realm, there were more than enough people that would gladly do that and more to him for a Klondike bar. But you can't keep a shit bird down, and soon enough, Lorgar spilt tea or something, and since Lorgar was as big as he was, Phaeron ordered a bunch of people to beat up the Primarch, who then promptly turned to Phaeron and tried to kill him. Lorgar stepped in and killed his own defenders, which is a good show of how much logic that idiot was going to use in the future. After that, Phaeron pretty much surrendered control of his entire religious cult and named him the leader of the faith, and Lorgar named Phaeron his archdeacon. So let's sum it up. Basically, Phaeron lost his position at the church, lost his following in Lorgar, lost the ability to beat Lorgar, lost his argument for religion, and lost any semblance of genuine leadership. Phaeron would now lead because others told him that he could. What a bitch! At that point, Phaeron instantly fell off. He was barely the hype man's hype man at this point. He's barely even a filler character until the Emperor arrives, and at that point he's too old to be a space marine. But since Lorgar wanted to keep him around like a pet goldfish, he grabbed his daddy and threw some shit inside him in the hopes that Phaeron would keep going, and yes, I meant for it to sound that way because it was damn near close to that way. Most of the Space Marines in and out of the Word Bearers had zero respect for Phaeron because he was basically Lorgar's science project at that point. Ahriman of the Thousand Suns, after spending 5 years with the Word Bearers, said Phaeron was everything he hated about Lorgar's Legion. Finally, after the Emperor got tired of the slow pace of the Work Bearers, he came and smacked down everything Lorgar had believed in. Phaeron got together with Erebus and took a shot at convincing Lorgar to turn on the Emperor. Which, besides Phaeron discovering Lorgar, the only thing that we know Phaeron for doing is this. After that, he did damn near nothing besides trying to corrupt Gilliman to add a plot point to a book that didn't need any more plot points. He got one of his hearts ripped out for the trouble, and a few days later he lost his battle barge to the same said Primarch's Ultramarines. These days, Phaeron is still trying to be the best at something, but he's still just a shit. He's the bootleg Iron Man with none of the wealth, charisma, or intelligence, forced to live in a suit of Terminator armor that sustains his pathetic existence like a mobile nursing home. Literally, if Phaeron exits the suit of Terminator armor, he will die. Remember how I said in the Erebus 5-minute lore that if one had a gun with 2 bullets and Lorgar, Erebus, and Phaeron tied up helpless? Shoot Erebus twice, beat Erebus's corpse with a gun, and then just leave the old bastard Phaeron to die of natural causes.